President Trump is trying to fix healthcare in the United States, and there's only so much that he can do because ObamaCare, known officially as the Affordable Care Act, is a law. It was signed in by Congress, so he can't just kill it. He doesn't have that power. However, ObamaCare is interesting because it's like a law with other laws sprouting off from it, because a lot of the regulations that came health-related under Obama were created by bureaucrats inside of regulatory agencies, so they fall under the executive branch. So Trump actually can kill a lot of the regulations that are related to healthcare and related in an extended way to Obamacare. And by the way, isn't it just ironic that that Obamacare was called the Affordable Care Act, even though it caused prices to skyrocket, and it was the biggest gift to the pharmaceutical industry and the insurance industries? Of course, those industries helped to write it. They actually went to the White House and talked with the Obama administration about
yes, we can.
What they wanted, their own little list of what they wanted, and that's what they got. But when you have these unelected bureaucrats who are making decisions, well, they don't often have our best interests in mind. In fact, they tend to have too many connections to the pharmaceutical industry. It's something that back when I worked at HealthWise, we referred to as the revolving door, because those bureaucrats who were working for the federal government would then go and they'd get a job in those pharmaceutical companies that they had in one way or another helped, and they get paid more. And then later on, years later, they'd come back into a different federal agency, and then they'd go back into the private sector at another pharmaceutical industry, and each time their salary would double. Yeah, it's so very corrupt. But what Trump is doing is bringing back what were known as health reimbursement arrangements, or HRAs. They're actually just a special type of account which is managed by an employer. So an employer puts money tax-free inside of an account, and he can use that account to pay his employees for healthcare expenditures, including health insurance, and nobody gets taxed. The employer doesn't get taxed on that money, and the employee, when he receives it, doesn't have to pay income tax on it either. It's like the government essentially is hands-off on it, which I think is one of the reasons Obama didn't like it. In fact, Obama hated these things. He hated these accounts. He tried to kill them. There's an Obama regulation that stipulated that employers who are caught giving employees pre-tax money to purchase their own coverage, they could be fined as much as $100 a day per employee. That's $36,500 a year per employee. That was the highest penalty out of all the Obamacare regulations. Why, you might ask? Because he didn't want competition against his own more socialized plan. That's why. He wanted to kill competition, and that's why prices went up. Because when you have more competition, your prices lower. This is just basic economics, and he wanted to prevent any competition. So why these accounts are good is that they allow families to shop for the healthcare that they need, that they want, that actually applies most to them, and their employer can just reimburse them instead. And ideally, if you had a lot of different companies who had signed up to this, and a lot actually want to, especially small businesses, but if you had a lot, you'd have a situation where a person, the family, could sign up for whatever health insurance they wanted, and then they could leave a job and go to a different job and take the same health insurance with them. Now, a lot of people are afraid that if they leave a certain job, they're going to lose health insurance, it's going to change, they don't know what they're going to get at their next employer. This would fix it. It would be up to you what you actually want. And this also puts small businesses in control of their healthcare expenses. Right now, a lot of small businesses died under Obama's era because of the skyrocketing prices and the unpredictability that came with them. You can't budget for healthcare in the current environment. Under Obamacare, it's really difficult, and you have these extremely high prices. What we're talking about doing is allowing employers to budget better. A set amount goes to each employee, for example. The employee would know, how much he can spend on the insurance. So this could actually help small businesses to survive, and this goes along with the fact that Trump is really focused on improving the economy, right? That's obviously one of his priorities. And it would help with families too, and I get that insurance is expensive right now. But part of the reason that it's so expensive is because there is no competition, and because insurers aren't targeting families. They're not actually trying to appeal to families because this sort of thing doesn't exist, because Obamacare killed it. So this could actually lower prices in that regard too. You know, one of the biggest threats to our freedom, in my opinion, is the executive branch. It is the fact that you have these regulatory agencies where bureaucrats can make laws at will and they're completely unaccountable, and, you know, taxpayers don't really know anything about what they're doing, but yet have to deal with it, have to deal with the consequences. It's really an awful situation. So I'm really glad that one of the things that the Trump administration has done most is scale back a lot of the regulations. That's one of the greater victories of the Trump administration so far, in my opinion. Stop! Don't leave yet. Since you made it to the end, you probably enjoyed that video. In that case, here are some other videos that you might enjoy. The updates link at the top will provide you with better ways to be more reliably notified of new videos, and it also has social media information, that kind of thing. That's because you know how this site is. Well, the link at the bottom, the store link, that's in case you're looking for merchandise or our healthier products. Thanks.